The footwell air vent duct there just gets caught on that, so you have to be careful with that. With that panel removed, you can then access the heater fan, which is literally just here. Undo that. In my infinite wisdom, I was under here previously and I used some sticky pads I bought to hold some wiring on, so I'm just going to have to snip those off. Only cable tied on. This makes this a little easier. Couldn't quite get the angle in for that screw. There we are. This would be fine if you had a little Torx bit on a ratchet, but I've got this screwdriver that's got a Torx bit, which I like, so it's just a bit long. I forgot, I should have said undo the cable first, so you just push the little tab on the side of it. Comes down like that. There we are. So that's the cover that sits underneath. You can see on this cover the residue of what's probably been rubbing away over the years. I don't know if that's just dust off the electrical brushes, but probably contributed. I'll give that a clean. Now that panel's out, I've put this back because these screws are easier to get to. In a similar position to that cover, there are 4 screws, 1 in each corner, that secure the motor and fan. They're actually the same type of screw as well, so it doesn't matter if you get them mixed up. There you go, it's coming loose now. I'll do these 2 gradually and then support the weight of it with one hand. And there we go, literally drops out like that. Here we are. That's the old one. Gone for for a Nissans, who are quite a well-known brand. It came to £98, the new one, with a bit of discount from Car Parts for Less. Don't put your hand in it, obviously. The most obvious thing is that it's a different colour, but that doesn't matter. You can see this one's been balanced, so they've put a mark on it. I assume it was on a balancing machine somewhere, and then they've put that tab on it just to weight it. So I think what's happened is the old one, I think a bearing has started to go, hence you get that squeak. I think maybe there's a tiny bit of play in a bearing, or a tiny bit of play in something, but in all honesty, you can't really tell the difference. You see there's a tiny bit of corrosion on the top there, on that pin. I suppose that's just where over time condensation and water gets in. Over the years, even though it does have air conditioning, a bit of moisture will get through. We need to swap over the this little, I don't know what it is, control module or something. Some people recommend replacing this, but the actual operation of the fan works perfectly. It's just the noise of it, so it's not expensive, that. I think it's about another 30 quid, so if I get any trouble, I'll replace that as well. Screwdriver. So all of these screws that I've had to undo, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 screws have all been the same torques. So you literally need one tool to do this entire job on the car. And it's quite handy that Mercedes actually place it where they do, because on the majority of cars it's buried behind the dashboard, and you know, it takes hours to remove the dash to access it. But this is brilliant. It's almost as if they knew it was going to go wrong. So 2 securing screws for that. Just check the orientation. 2 little tabs here. There we are. Just pops off. There you go. So this one's, the make is Behr. I don't know how you say it. B-E-H-R. I see that a lot on OEM parts. Quite often people use Behr radiators. I've actually used a Nissan's radiator on a previous car. So just make sure the plug's the same. It is identical. So I'll just put it in place first. They're sort of self-tapping screws that go into plastic. I'll just pick it up there rather than put too much pressure on this. Just hold it by the frame there. The car's nearly 2007, so this has lasted over 14 years and 130,000 miles, so it's not too bad. But in all honesty, I don't think there's much more to it than that, so I'll just get this installed. It's quite easy to work out the orientation of how this goes because of the shape of it. If you've got someone to help you hold it while you put in a screw, that is handy, because really you do need 3 hands. There you go, so the screws are tight. I think it's sitting correctly in the housing. There's a little lip you have to watch out for. Giving that a bit of a clean inside. These are the little sticky tabs I mentioned. I use these a lot on the interior of cars whenever I pull anything apart. They're just like a foam rubber tap with a backing that you peel off. And then they've got these sort of little channels, and they're brilliant for just putting cable ties through and tying stuff to. I think I got a pack of 100 off eBay or something, but they're really, really handy. Now this should be much easier to get back in because it's much lighter. So again, just move all the wires out of the way, make sure it locates properly. Get a screw on a screwdriver. Simple as that. Repeat stage 3 times. Fold this down again for access. Just got to mind that net on the side there. Better angle. There we are. Let's just tighten the last screw. I know this looks awkward, and it is, but it's a hell of a lot easier than access on other cars. Plug back in, and then slide the little wiring harness back on. stick it all in. I'll just use these cable ties to hold that bit of wiring up again. There you are. So that's a shot of how it sits. That's the little plastic cover. You can see I've just put those things to retain the wires on there, like that. And lastly, the cover. Just got to remember there's two plugs. One for this control module here. I think that's to do with the radio and the auxiliary input. And this last one here is just for the little footwell light. Just get this up here first. Yeah, the light plugged in. Again, I mentioned that ducting. You've just got to make sure that is placed correctly around the little air feed. There you go. 2 securing screws. Easy as that. I'll just test the light by pushing the button on the door sill. There we are. That basically makes you think you're opening and shutting the door. Floor mat last. Sorry about the terrible lighting. Best way to do these I found is to anchor them at the front in the points, like that, and then sort of roll them forward. Again, just minding that netting. There we are. I'll give that a quick hoover. Sorted.